You know, Bounderby, her husband, would have said he was strong, independent, a plain man, a decisive man in the story. But his pride, guys, his pride did something to his wife in the story. It did not draw her out. It actually pressed her down. It compressed her. It didn't create the safety that she needed to live in. It created restraint, and she became careful and guarded and emotionally alone. And so here's the question for us about this story. Is it possible to be loud and decisive and financially successful and still create a house that feels emotionally barren? Is it possible for a man's pride to slowly silence his wife? Not because he's physically abusive to her, not because he screams constantly, but because everything in the home revolves around him. His story, his strength, his opinions, his authority, and she's not even allowed to exist. And because of that, she shrinks. And Dickens actually says in his story about Louisa, the wife, he says she was sensitively ashamed of him. Man, that is devastating. Guys, your wife should not feel shame when you speak. She shouldn't brace herself when you tell stories. She shouldn't feel a cut every time you assert yourself. Man, Ephesians 5:25 says, "Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it." So guys, Christ's leadership doesn't make his bride smaller and feel stupid. It makes her radiant. It makes her beautiful. It makes her flourish and bloom into a better version of herself. So later on in that same chapter of Ephesians chapter 5, we're told that Christ presents the church to himself as glorious. And so when his headship is actually in control, when a headship is like Christ's, it glorifies, it beautifies, it does not suffocate. And so here's the connection to fear, which we're talking about in this video. Guys, a proud man creates emotional climate without realizing it, okay?